Mukhang all set ka na, Ma'am Marie Chris, ah.
Hopefully, sir. Biglaan lang to eh.
Oo nga, ma'am. Nakita ko
Opo.
nga, ma'am, eh.
Okay. Okay, a blessed afternoon to everyone. Okay po ba ang aking audio?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, thank
Clear?
you.
Yes,
I'm
very
wondering.
Clear,
clear.
Ma'am Marie Chris.
Okay po. So actually po, dalawa na yung aking gadgets. Medyo nagduda ako dito sa aking laptop. That's why I connect to my cellphone. Okay, so again, a blessed afternoon to everyone. So sit back and relax. We're about to start our program this afternoon. So the Philippine Association of the Collegiate Schools of Business, in partnership with the Philippine or the Private Education Assistance Committee and Rex Education, welcomes guests and participants to Webinar 3, Volume 3 on crafting OBE-based syllabi for business courses, blended or hybrid modality. Okay. So again, a blessed afternoon to everyone, no, to our guests, to our esteemed speakers to be properly introduced later, to the committed officers of PAXB, to the core group of this most anticipated webinar, and to our dear participants. Okay, and of course to the ever engaged members of PAXB, again, welcome to Webinar 3, Volume 3 of this webinar. And of course, no, I'm your moderator for today, okay, Dr. Marikis Unico. And then for the webinar house rules, may we remind our dear participants to kindly stay on mute for the entire duration of the webinar, to use the chat box or the Q&A button for your questions, and to submit the accomplished attendance and evaluation forms to receive a digital certificate, and to, of course, to accomplish the attendance and evaluation forms. We already provided the link for this, and also to be posted in the chat box several times during the submission or during the webinar, and the submission is open until 8:30 p.m. Okay, and of course, this is the program of our activity for this afternoon. And we will start now today's webinar with an invocation to be led by Professor Jonathan De Vera, the Director of PAXB from University of Perpetual Health, Isabela Campus, followed by the singing of the national anthem.
Thank you, Ma'am Marie Chris.
Mga kababayan,
Dear Lord, allow us to glorify your name as we embark on this journey called education. Thank you for strengthening our reserve at PAXB in partnership with the Private Education Assistance Committee and Rex Education to make a difference in the lives of educators and students. Thank you for allowing us to share with our members, education experts who selflessly share their knowledge and expertise to ensure that the quality of teaching expected from all of us be sustained. Lord, as we continue to rely on your grace, we are assured that the better future awaits us and that no matter what this life will bring, your love will always pull us through. With humility and patience, we look forward to this promise. All glory and honor we lift back to your mighty name. Amen.
mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, telas ang sirangalan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, Mananagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ang pagaw, ay hinatang tula kawit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang ay di magdidinig. Luman ang araw ng walhagit pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling ko. Ang hinigaya ng pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
We are truly blessed, being led by a dynamic and compassionate woman, and to share some words and welcome you all. A big hand to our working president, Dr. Venus M. Puerto of University of Southern Philippines Foundation.
Thank you so much, Doc Marie Chris. As inspired by Part Riley, excellence is the gradual result of always striving to do better. And that is true. Our esteemed resource person, Dr. Greg Pawilin, fellow members of PAXB Board, distinguished participants who are PAXB members as well, fellow academicians around the country, guests, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon. The quality of the syllabus is a reliable indicator of the quality of teaching and learning that will take place in a course. Therefore, it requires instructors like us, of course, to make the effort to construct a high quality syllabus or syllabi. The results of that effort can benefit not just the instructor, of course, as well as the students. The process of developing a syllabus can be a reflective exercise, leading the instructor or the professor or the teacher to carefully consider his or her philosophy of teaching, why the course is important, how the course fits the discipline, as well as what topics will be covered, when assignments will be due, and so on and so forth. This can be an enlightening experience that results in an improved course. The syllabus, thus both professional document and a personal document. As we are very much aware that the syllabus can serve as a guide to the instructor as much as a guide to the class. Hence, an outcome base clearly states the expectations for student learning outcomes. To know more and further be updated on the crafting of outcomes-based syllabi, especially for business courses. Hence, we are so lucky enough to have invited a sought-after resource person. Of course, he will be formally introduced later, who will be sharing to us this afternoon. I would also like to commend the webinar committee headed by Dr. Amado Magsino for coming up such a very relevant topic towards academic excellence. Without any further ado, I would like to welcome you all to this webinar on crafting OBE-Based syllabi for business courses, blended or hybrid modality. Again, I am very much inspired with this author. I used to share this in time I used to give my talk, that according to Benjamin Franklin, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. May each one of us will have a worth learning afternoon. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you, Madam President. And of course, to formally introduce our esteemed speaker for this afternoon. Actually, we believe that there's no other person who could give justice to our topic this afternoon. That's why we waited for his availability, considering his numerous engagements. Okay, so one of the much sought after lecturer. And to do the honor, the Vice President for Visayas of PAXB from Capiz State University, Burias Campus, Dr. Rosine O. Labado.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pride and honor to introduce our resource speaker this afternoon. Our resource speaker took his Doctor of Philosophy in Education, major in Curriculum Studies, and Master of Arts in Education, major in Curriculum Studies at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. He also finished a Master of Education in Curriculum Development and Science Education from Ehaime University in Matsuyama City in Japan. In recognition for his outstanding academic achievements, he received the Academic Excellence Award from the UP College of Education for getting the highest general weighted average of 1.03 for his doctoral studies. He received the prestigious Pi Gamma Mu Award of Academic Excellence in Social Science, the Pi Kappa Phi Academic Excellence Award. This made him a lifetime member in both international honor societies. He was also a recipient of various scholarship grants. He has served as Associate Professor of Curriculum Studies at UP Diliman College of Education for 8 years, serving also as Cluster Coordinator for the Curriculum Studies and Educational Foundation area. As a UP professor, he has published various research and academic papers in different international peer-reviewed journals. In recognition for his research works, he was among the faculty recipients of the University of the Philippines Diliman Centennial Faculty Research Grant in 2012. Recently, he is one of the recipients of the 2019 and 2021 UP System International Publication Award. He served as the resource person and curriculum consultant of the Bureau of Curriculum Development of the Department of Education and the development of the transition curriculum for learners with special education needs, the development of the curriculum for the gifted in the Philippines, special program for the gifted, assessment framework for textbook, gender curriculum, and the special interest program for foreign language curriculum. He works as curriculum resource person on outcomes-based education in hundreds of colleges and universities in the Philippines and in Southeast Asia. He trained academic deans and professors of the Association for Theological Education in Southeast Asia, or the ATSEA, held in Yangon City, Sabah, Kuala Lumpur, and Bangkok. Currently, he is a member of the advisory board of the Philippine Military Academy. He is back to the University of the Philippines System as Professor 4 of the College of Human Ecology and at the Graduate School of the University of the Philippines, Las Bañas. He is also the director of the UPLB Office of the Institutional Development in Higher Education. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our resource speaker this afternoon, Dr. Greg Tabios Pawilin. Sir?
Thank you, Dr. Labado. Thank you very much for that very kind introduction. So I hope you can hear me. Is my voice audible? Yeah, they say that this is now the new greetings for the new normal. Can you hear me instead of saying good morning or good afternoon? Or is my voice?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Loud and clear,
Afternoon, Doc.
Doc.
Is my voice audible? So those are the greetings now in the new normal.
Now.
Anyway,
Yes,
thank you
sir.
very much. First of all, I'd like to apologize because this is supposed to be done last week, but we have, we have a very important activity at the University of the Philippines, and I needed to attend, and so I'm very, very sorry. So I apologize to the whole PAXB family for this. But anyway, thank you for accommodating my request that this has to be transferred today. And if you ask me to come and join you personally, I would come. Okay, face to face. Okay, just to make up for what happened last week. But anyway, thank you very much. Pero of course, please allow me to share my screen. Okay, here. Okay, thank you. Okay. Sige. Okay, so this is a topic that was given to me, designing OBE syllabus for business courses. This is not my first time to be with PAXB, so thank you very much, PAXB, for always inviting me. So I also would like to take this opportunity, since I am the Director for Institutional Development and Higher Education, to invite the PAXB member schools to please collaborate with UPLB. So this morning we have collaboration. Kaya kanina, sabi ko kay Mark kanina, I will join at 2:15, which I did, I guess, a little bit late, to 4:20 maybe, because we have an MOU also signing, and MOA signing with Manila Central University and the Polytechnic University system in Manila. Okay, so currently we now have 40 local partner universities to encourage the PAXB schools. I know that some of you are already partners of the University of the Philippines to Los Baños. We can provide curriculum development, faculty development, joint research, and of course, we can accommodate your capacity building activities as our partner. This is the initiative of the National University to capacitate Philippine HEIs. So anyway, so this is a topic that was given to me, designing OBE syllabus for business courses. So indeed, as I listened to the remarks a while ago, a syllabus is very important in teaching. You cannot teach, I cannot imagine a professor teaching without a syllabus. Do I know that that has been the practice for a long time, that we can teach because we believe that everything is in our mind and we can just talk about everything kasi na-memorize na natin yung mga tinuturo natin. Well, that is not a good practice, even if we can do that. Okay? So the students deserve to have a syllabus, and preparing a syllabus is one of the things or the responsibilities that we have to do as higher education professors. So we're going back to OBE, but I'd like to discuss first or mention to you some trajectories or directions in education for instruction, or especially in instruction, or specifically instruction from basic education, undergraduate to graduate education. So if you look at what is happening now, and if you study the different innovations in pedagogy, fluid andragogy, okay, you can see that there is a shift from content-based teaching to outcomes-based education. So OBE is our current and our future design of education. We are moving away from content-heavy disciplines or courses. We are moving away from putting more emphasis on the amount of ideas that you should know to outcomes-based education that will focus on the behavior, competencies, and skills, training our mind to think critically and creatively, think innovatively, that will allow us to solve problems, that will allow us to get out of the box and think of solutions, or stay inside the box and solve the issues that we are facing in our society. Outcomes-based education will allow us to define or describe the kind of graduates that we want, and from there we design education. So before, we put much emphasis on teaching content. Okay, you have to know all these things from chapter 1 to chapter 4. But now content is becoming irrelevant. As you know, research is too fast. What we know today may not be correct in a few hours from now. So we really need, what we need to do to prepare our students for 21st century learning. Oh, well, we are already at the dawn of the 21st century, and to prepare our students for the fourth industrial revolution is to help them think and to help them develop their mental skills or cognitive skills to be able to focus, okay, to the different demands and challenges of 21st century life, or of the fourth industrial revolution. We are shifting from teacher-centered instruction to learner-centered instruction. So thus, the teachers are no longer the gods of the classroom. So before, as faculty members, we think of ourselves as the lone expert in the discipline. But now we are realizing that there is much to learn from our students too, that we should learn from our students, and we should also learn with the students. They learn from us and they learn with us. Okay, learning is now the focus of instruction, as compared before or decades ago that we put more emphasis on teaching, on pedagogy and andragogy. But now even pedagogy and andragogy has embraced, okay, learner-centered instruction, focusing on the nature of the learners, focusing on understanding their learning styles, learning needs, learning motivation, okay, thinking styles and thinking preferences, focusing on their values, their culture, and the things that influence the way they learn. Okay. And of course, we are shifting or moving away from conducting class lectures to research-based teaching that will also enrich flexible learning. Okay, when I say research-based teaching, well, the lecture-based method will still be there, but instead of focusing on content and heavily on memorization or simple discussion, we will focus on data analysis. We will focus on discussing, interpreting, gathering data, and making sense of this data. Okay, and of course, we will through research-based teaching develop solutions, develop problems, develop our competencies. Okay, and of course, through research-based teaching, we will develop more innovations, and we will understand more issues in our society. And of course, as students and faculty of business and accountancy, I know that you will play an important role for preparing our students, okay, especially to develop their entrepreneurial skills, and of course, helping our students what do you call this, contribute to national development. Okay, so from traditional instruction to flexible learning because of technology and because of the nature of our learners, okay, the nature of the disciplines, the growing innovations that we have in teaching as influenced by cognitive ecology, and at the same time as influenced by neuropsychology or neuroscience or brain-based learning. Now we are changing the way we teach. We are utilizing technology. We are examining the learning style, the learning time vis-a-vis the faculty contact hours, putting more emphasis on the learning, okay, of the students, or study time of the students, and utilizing technology, okay, looking at the time, the pace, the place, and the mode of teaching. Okay, so now, because that is our focus for today, we're going to prepare an OBE syllabus for hybrid and high flex learning or blended learning. Okay, and then there are several factors. Okay, I revised the model of Ramsey and Ho, okay, to look at the factors that affects or influence instruction. There are 3 variables involved before you can develop a syllabus. You need to know more about your learner. We need to know yourself, the teachers, and of course, we need to know about the subject matter. When you talk about the learners, we look at their learning styles, we look at their learning needs, characteristics and behavior, thinking preferences, socioeconomic background, okay, or status, their culture, their IQ, yes, is still relevant, and of course their level and type of motivation. Why are they enrolled in business and accountancy, for example? What motivates them to enter this course? We look at how they learn. Well, it is an assumption, of course, that they are technologically savvy. This generation X and Y, or the millennial learners, of course, are technology. They love to play with technology, but take note, playing with technology is different from learning with technology. So that is one of the challenges that we are facing as educators, because they love technology simply because of the entertainment factor that they got from the technology. Okay, only few people, okay, are utilizing technology for learning. So that is the problem. Now that we are using, for example, online learning because of the pandemic, okay, the students are having difficulty, okay, entering the Zoom, okay, or using the LMS for learning. While of course there are also students who are technologically savvy in learning. So we have to strike a balance and find ways on how to motivate our students, and to put all this entertainment factor of technology, okay, those smart factor of technology to our teaching and learning, utilizing all these things in designing instruction. Of course, as teachers, we have to know ourselves. We have to look at ourselves. You cannot teach what we do not have. You cannot give what we do not have. We cannot teach what we do not know. We always go back to our philosophy, okay, to our philosophy of education, to our philosophy of teaching and learning, because basically our philosophy influences the way we teach, the way we approach a single discipline, the way we approach our students, the way we design instruction, and the way we present learning. Our philosophy will help us define our philosophy, our priorities, and at the same time our values as teachers. Okay, so we need to align our philosophy with the philosophy of education of the schools where we are teaching. Okay, so kailangan yun. We have to embrace that philosophy. And at the same time, this philosophy is also influenced by our own personal history, our geographical context, our culture, and everything. So there are a lot of things. Okay, our religion, of course, will influence also our philosophy. Our education and training, okay? Our education and training, if you're a bachelor's degree, if you're a laude, meaning you're honor students or not, okay? If you have finished your master's degree, what type of master's degree have you finished? What is your specialization? Are you involved in research? If you have a PhD, what is your field of specialization, or a professional doctor or research doctor? How many, if you have postgraduate trainings or seminars, trainings and workshops attended, exposures to different education systems. So those will definitely influence our instruction. Minsan, yumayabang yung faculty. Okay, but you know, while I congratulate all the loudest, but take note, my grade is, my general weighted average is 1.03, and my master's, in my second master's is 1.0, and my first master's is 1.5. But take note, okay, life or success in life is not measured by our general weighted average. Our general averages are irrelevant. See, even as I tell this to you, I'm not bragging that I got a very high score or a very high grade. Okay, there is much more in this life that we need to do. Okay, or we need to focus on. Okay, the success in life or being a good teacher is not measured by the amounts of awards that the number of awards that we receive, even if you are an outstanding teacher, not even the Metrobank awardees. Okay, so sometimes good teachers they don't receive awards because they refuse some form of sort of recognition. They work silently for the students. Okay, it depends on your philosophy, because there are also teachers who would like to brag on and on. I graduated this and from this and that, etc., etc. So this should not impede quality education to flourish in our classrooms or in our schools. This should not influence or affect, okay, our relationship with our students. Remember, they are in the classroom to listen to the class, to listen to the theories, to listen to the principles and practices that you're going to share. They are not there simply to listen, okay, to the stories about your life. Okay, they're not interested about it unless it is related to the lesson, or it will be something that will what do you call it, that will motivate them. Okay, or what. Anyway, your personality. Ayan, personality. May mga professors na mayabang, may professors na tamad, may professors na very meaningful magturo, very engaging magturo. Well, it depends. Sometimes I ask myself, what kind of teacher do I want to my students to know about me, or to feel pag ako yung pinag-uusapan, pag ako kaya nag-retire, o pag sa likod ko ano kaya mas sinasabi ng mga estudyante sa akin. Okay, so as a young faculty, well, I'm 45 years old, so I'm now very old. I started in teaching in the graduate school at the age of 27, but I was 21 years old when I became principal. Okay, so lahat na nandun na yon, pero sometimes because of our duties, because of our many tasks, etc., etc. So dati masungit ako, talagang masungit. You ask my former students at UP Diliman, I stayed there for 10 years. Okay, just have to correct the introduction. I think there's something. I stayed there for 10 years. Okay, so anyway, masungit ako noon. Pero at the end of the day, I asked myself, magsungit ka na magsungit, magtaray ka na magtaray, mag-stricto ka na mag-stricto. Will that improve instruction? Magyabang ka ng magyabang. Will that improve students' learning? Okay, will it significantly change the attitude of the students? Will they love you? And then I remember, of course, the Machiavellian philosophy. To be loved is better than feared. Yeah, to be loved is better than feared. So I changed my attitude towards teaching. I changed my attitude towards my students. And I think I became more effective by them. Dati mayabang din ako and everything, blah, 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 blah. Masungit, mataray, mayabang, nandun na lahat. But we have, these students are the ones that we need to serve. Okay, so we have to be patient. We have to love them. We have to accept them for who they are. But of course, we have to be mindful of our philosophy and the mission why we are there, why we are teaching. That is to help our students experience a positive, life-changing or transformation in their life. or in their lives. So that is our goal, di ba? So again, life is not measured by your GWA. Life is not measured by the number of awards. I mean, the success in life. Being a good teacher is not measured, okay, by our general weighted average or the awards that we receive, okay? But definitely, I understand that this will influence instruction. Kasi yung iba, panindigan ko kasi you have to feel, summa cum laude ako, magna ako. Ito yung GWA ko, so dapat ma-feel nila na magaling ako. You know, teaching is not a game and teaching is not a show, okay? Teaching is something. Okay, it's an experience of a lifetime. If I say it's an experience of a lifetime, it should, every minute, every single interaction with the students should be a meaningful interaction. It should be something that will change their life. It should be something that will influence their lives to become better and not bitter. Okay, we talk about our teaching styles. Okay, how do we teach? There are those people who would love reporting also. Oh my, I ask those people, if there are people here, teachers here who ask their students to give the report, itigil nyo na ang report na yan, unless they are reporting a data or a result of an experiment. Please don't do that. Okay? Please don't do that. A good teacher, ang mga nagpapareport lang, ito yung mga tamad na teacher. Yung mga patanga-tangang teacher na hindi nagpa-prepare, sila ang nagpapareport. And if you are one of them, I'm sorry, okay, you're probably one of them. Okay, so you better change your attitude. We need to teach, we need to facilitate, and be an instructional coach instead. Okay, rather than staying there at the back and listening to a lousy report coming from a student na hindi naman niya naintindihan yung nile-lecture niya. O yung ano, kasi, syempre, what do you expect? They just read it from the internet. They just read it from the book. Okay, so, importante dito, you should know how to process. So, teachers, please refrain from asking your students to do reports. Okay, our duty is to teach. Our duty is not to teach at the back of the classroom, etc., and listen while playing with our cell phones or what. So change our attitudes. We have to change our attitude. And those reflects in the quality of instruction, and those are reflected in the lesson plans. Nakalagay sa syllabus, critical dialogue, creative teaching. Creative ba yun? Nagre-report? Ano ba yan? Okay, so tagilan na. Kasi ang mga nagpa-report lang, ito lang yung mga tamad at ito lang yung mga patanga-tanga. Okay, sige, alam nyo na. Okay, sige. Next. If you have some abilities, some professors are very good, especially the general education faculty members may special abilities nila in the arts, the sciences. Okay, so they can use that in teaching. Some are gifted to become speakers, good lecturers, and some are not, but they are good in giving practical activities, in facilitating, in leading discussions, okay, in the Socratic method. So those are special interests. Some are good in integrating topics to another or to real life situation. So those will definitely influence the way we teach. Okay, experience is also influential. And of course, their expertise. To put them together, 5 is lang yan. Education, experience, expertise, exposure. And of course, the 5th one is your commitment to excellence, academic excellence. Okay, the subject matter. We cannot teach what we do not know. Sometimes a PhD or a master's degree is not a guarantee of becoming a good teacher. Maraming mayayabang na nakatapos lang ng PhD or DBA, FBA, or MS or MA. Yung mayabang yung ibang tao. But you know, your education should do something that will help our students to learn, to inspire them instead na ipagyayabang. O PhD nga, pero puro hangin naman ang dala. Ano magagawa doon? MS nga. May sayad naman. MBA nga, o di ba? Pero medyo bobong anga-anga, parang gano'n ang dating, pero now kaya ko minsan hindi na pwedeng ipagyabang-yabang, kaya maraming faculty ko minsan, I don't use my PhD in my dito yata sa pangalan ko nakalagay Dr. Greg Pawilen, I don't use that. Okay, I don't use that. I can live without it. Okay, ang importante dito is you know your subject matter, you know how to teach, and you know how to coach instruction. So your knowledge of the discipline, your disciplinary expertise should be felt by your students. They have to feel that you are a PhD. And when I said that they have to feel that you are a PhD, hindi ito yung sungit o taray or what. You know your discipline, you can integrate your topic to different disciplines into real life situation. You know how to analyze data, you know how to interpret data, and of course, you know how to learn with the students. That is important. Okay, that's a mark of a PhD or a master's degree. Okay. If the learners, if the subject is interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary, then integration is the name of the game. What do I mean by that? We have to know the nature of the course. Okay, we have to strengthen your knowledge of the discipline so that you can teach the course in an interdisciplinary or a multidisciplinary way, or a transdisciplinary, meaning focusing on issues, focusing on life themes or social themes that influence us or that affect us, our lives in every day. Okay, if it is a science, if it's a social science or humanities. Now, how about business administration or business courses? I think business alone is a multidisciplinary field of study. So you need expertise from the social sciences, from the sciences. Of course, you need expertise also in different fields. Okay, so this will affect instruction. Okay, and then you talk about instructional procedures. What learning theory are you going to use? The modes of learning that we are going to apply. Okay, if it's hybrid, blended, or high flex, or what the methods that we are going to use in teaching, the strategies, approaches, and techniques. And of course, this will of course influence, or we need also to look at the type of instructional materials that we need. If it's a printed material, audiovisual resources, okay, online material, if it needs a laboratory materials or what. Okay, we need to look at the learning assessment that we use, whether it is traditional, authentic, or interdisciplinary. Okay, the learning output, of course, or the learning outcome, because this is OBE, will also influence instructional design. What outcomes are we referring to? We look at cognitive skills, the affective or the values, appreciations, and then of course psychomotor or the skills. And then the learning environment, because this is flexible learning. Is it virtual, residential, remote, or hybrid? Okay, so now, so because our task is to develop, okay, an OBE syllabus, we have to review what OBE is all about. OBE is a learner-centered paradigm in higher education because it places the learner at the core of instruction. We learn with the learners, we learn from the learners will learn from us. And when we design instructions, always we look at how we put the learner in a meaningful learning situation, how we engage them in meaningful learning. Okay, so it's a learner-centered paradigm. Sabi nila wala daw bumabagsak pag OBE. The answer is yes. But I tell you, the answer is yes, simply because we will do everything that we can to help the students learn. Well, if after we did our best and still there are students who do not do their tasks as students, hindi na natin kasalanan yon. Okay? Hindi na natin kasalanan yon. Tandaan nyo yan. At least you can tap your shoulders and say, Greg, you did your best anyway. Okay? Basta you do your best to help the students learn. Kaya walang dapat bumabagsak kasi tinulungan mo na eh. But of course, I understand there are people, there are also students na ginawa mo ng lahat. Pero ganun pa rin. Parang pag-ibig lang yan. Okay, anyway. So, OBE, of course, is anchored on quality assurance. So it started in 1997, but even before 1997, there is already a concept of quality assurance. But it's 1997 is special because it is when the ASEAN University Network Quality Assurance, or the ASEAN University Network, thought of a quality assurance system that will look into the quality of our higher education institutions in the Southeast Asian region. Okay, and of course, in 2012, CHED adopted this curriculum design on outcomes-based, okay, to enhance quality assurance and to develop quality curriculum or curricula for tertiary education. And of course, part of that is a typology-based quality assurance, meaning you have to look at your institution, the nature of your institution. If it's a college, an institute, teaching, or a research university. Okay, in the United States, they do that. If it's a teaching university or a research university, and if they're offering BA courses, if you are a practitioner, instead of going, for example, to a research university, you go to a teaching university. So if you are going to teach, you go to a research university. So, or it depends on your learning styles, and it depends on your priorities, your purpose of taking your master's degree or bachelor's degree or what. So the typology-based quality assurance is important, okay? In ensuring the the implementation or excellent implementation of the OBE. At I don't think some of the institutions do understand what do we mean by this. Kasi marami pa rin university na akala nila na downgrade sila kapag ginawa nating college or teaching university. No, it simply means your emphasis on its own instruction. Huwag mo nang piliting mag-research kung hindi mo naman talaga alam mag-research. Okay? At the same time, those who are claiming to be research universities, at least they should behave as research universities. And that means the students should feel that differentiation or that kind of culture in your university. Okay, please take note that there's a difference between outcomes-based education and outcome-based education. What is prescribed by the Commission on Higher Education and what is needed by international or by other colleges and universities in the 5 continents in this planet is outcomes-based education with an S. Tandaan nyo yun, ha? Outcome-based education is the model of William Spady. Well, I know that he became popular in the Philippines and in the whole world. Dito lang siya naging popular. Okay, I don't understand why. Okay, but of course, the principles taught by William Spady in his book are good. They are good, but take note that these are principles. These are educational principles, but they don't basically prescribe a design of content or design of instruction. Okay, so what we need is an outcomes-based curriculum. Yan na, hindi yung kay model ni Kaya stop using the word outcome-based or what. Outcomes-based. Lowercase. Dapat nga. Hindi na ano yung O. Okay. Outcomes-based with an S because that is anchored in quality assurance. It's not the model of Spady. I do not understand why colleges and universities are praising the model of Spady, telling it this is the father of OBE. Yes, he is the father of OBE. His model. Okay, but if we want our schools to be accredited international or what we follow is an outcomes-based education, not the outcome-based education. Follow him, you will fail. Okay, that's all. Okay, anyway, outcomes-based education, it's a curriculum design. So you can look at it this way. That can be described as a way in which the curriculum is organized. It's a curriculum design. So that's why we look at the syllabus, we look at the total curriculum, we look at all the outcomes that we want to accomplish from the program outcomes to the institutional outcomes. Because the idea here, the logic is that your syllabus or instruction is part of a greater curriculum. So it should contribute to the development of program outcomes and to the achievement of the institutional outcomes of your schools. So yun yung idea. Everything that you say and do, every learning activity, every lecture that you provide to your students will contribute to the development of that institutional outcomes and program outcomes. So collaboration is the key. Collaboration, critical thinking, of course, contribution to the school's vision and mission are important. Okay, when we look at outcomes-based and designing the system, meaning the academic support and administrative support, that will help the students develop themselves to become the professionals or the graduates that we hope them to be. Okay, yun ang importante. Kaya in OBE, ang connect niya sa syllabus, that's that in OBE, we identify, okay, the knowledge, the skills and values that should be possessed by the ideal graduates. We look at the competencies of the ideal graduates, and from there we design instruction. So we identify what knowledge in the field of business, what skills in business, what are the values, professional values or personal values in business or of a good business businessman or business professional should be included in the curriculum. And so from there, we plan our syllabus, we plan our instruction, we design our curriculum. Because basically, again, as OBE is a curriculum design, we look at the administrative support, we look at the academic policies, we look at the academic staff support, the kind of faculty that we need, that the support staff that we need, okay, academic policies, and the learning environment, both emotional, spiritual, and the physical, or the virtual learning environment that we experience, that we have, including the instructional support system. So that is what OBE is all about in a nutshell. Well, of course, this is not something this is not new to you. Okay, but take note, OBE doesn't mean ang ginagawa natin na 5 columns, 3 columns, etc. Sometimes nakafocus na tayo sa columns, sometimes nakafocus na tayo sa verbs. Of course, the verbs are important because or not because it should be smart, okay? Or dapat specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bounded. No, 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 no. But because we have to be specific, okay, about the competencies, the knowledge, and the skills that we want our students to learn. Di ba? Tayo lang, tapos every outcome mayroong assessment. So every assessment, so ilang meetings ito? 15, 20, 30, so 30 assessment tools. Sino ang pinahirapan mo? Pinahirapan mo yung estudyante, pero may karma rin yan. Bumalik sa'yo, you have to check. Yung mga nagti-check. But other faculty members don't even read. Okay? And so, nonsense. Ano? So, what is OBE there? So, kailangan yan, baguhin mo rin yung pananaw mo sa pagtuturo. Babaguhin natin yung personality natin, yung value system natin. Remember the model that I showed to you. So, outcomes-based education, as a learner-centered paradigm, expects that we have to change the way we teach. We have to influence the way the students learn. And we have to influence the learning environment, the total system. And we have to start with our syllabus. Okay. Now, we are talking here about blended learning. Please take note that after the pandemic, okay, after the pandemic, when the pandemic happened, there are many challenges that we experience. Okay, challenges in teaching, challenges to our health, challenges to our socio-emotional well-being and everything. So the jargons are changing. Nagpalit. Yung mga meaning ng mga educational terms nagpapalit. So sometimes some of them are already irrelevant. So what we did in the UP system is to develop or hybrid the definition of a blended learning. So because before, when we don't have yet the pandemic, okay, madali lang sabihin na it's a combination of this and that. But now, you see, blended learning is a combination of face-to-face instruction and online distance education. Okay. Now, when we say online distance education, we are referring to online learning. Okay? May may kaibahan yung online teaching sa online learning. Okay, online learning that utilizes technology. Okay, and face-to-face instruction. So if it's blended online learning, it's 70% online, 30% face-to-face. So it depends. We usually 40-60, 60 online, and then 40% face-to-face. But if it's a blended residential, meaning talagang hindi naman distance education school niyo, katulad namin, okay, hindi kami UP-OU lang ang distance ed. So it's basically 30% online and 70% face-to-face. Okay, this method is characterized by a combination of synchronous and asynchronous learning. So pag sinabi nating asynchronous, it is guided by independent study. Take note of that. The students should be able to experience, okay, learning independently. Okay, or it could be with group. Pwede rin naman yan. Okay, with a small group. Okay, learning independent study through the use of learning resources posted in a virtual learning environment. And synchronous sessions using web conferencing technologies like Zoom and Google Meet. But take note, okay, please take note of this, kayo magtuturo. Okay, when you do your synchronous session, yung face-to-face, then yung online, yung synchronous, meaning online, okay, real time, discussion or interaction with the students, please don't give a lecture. Okay, synchronous lessons or sessions should not be used for giving lectures unless you are giving an additional information, you are giving an additional knowledge to students. Synchronous sessions should be used for processing learning, for answering the questions of the students, for addressing their questions and queries, or for meaningful discussion, more meaningful discussion. Hindi kayo doon nagpapareport o nagle-lecture. You have to flip learning. Let them do that reading part. Let them do that analysis part in asynchronous learning. They can learn with their group. They can learn individually. Because in flexible learning, we want our students to be self-regulated. We want them to become independent learners, capable of doing something with minimal or even without the supervision of the faculty. Okay, so please don't give lectures when you do your synchronous session. In synchronous session, ito nagle-lecture ako, but in a class you should not give lectures. In a class, this is the time where you should answer their questions and question also the students about what they do not understand or about their alternative explanation of the theories or their understanding of what they learn. So yun ang dapat titingnan natin. Okay, high flex. Okay, bagong term yung high flex learning. Okay, sabi nila hybrid din ito. Okay, it involves simultaneous face-to-face. So there is face-to-face. Yung kanina ay dalawa lang yung learning environment, virtual and then blended, face-to-face. So pag nag-blended ka, okay, it's a combination of both. But here, it's a different combination, yung high flex or hybrid. Okay, simultaneously, you have face-to-face instruction and then you also have online synchronous instruction for those students who cannot come to school personally. So for example, ngayon, nagle-lecture ako. There are how many participants? 354. Okay, participants. Okay, halimbawa, nandito ako sa UPLB. I have 500 participants here also listening to me. And there are 354 kasi you cannot come here. Okay, participating online. Okay, so simultaneously yan, ginagawa ko yan. Ang mahirap lang doon, of course, pag may paggagawa ako na activity, na group yourselves into 5, etc., etc. So, still, of course, it's possible still to use the Zoom or what. Kailangan may mga chat rooms or may mga small groups na pwede nating gagawin, ano? Pero ibig sabihin nito, kailangan mo ng technical support, okay? Kailangan mo ng technical support, kailangan mo ng facilities. So, successful implementation of high flex learning requires appropriate ICT equipment, sufficient internet connectivity, and adequate technical support for the teacher and the learners. So you need that. So again, tingnan natin yung high flex. Yung high flex, it's a simultaneous combination of all these elements, face-to-face and online. Yung isa kanina, hindi. It's a combination, but they are done separately. Okay, so that's it. So now, we are going to prepare a syllabus. So what is a syllabus then? Syllabus basically is what teachers will contribute to deliver, okay, for the philosophy or for the attainment of the philosophy, vision, and mission of the school. It communicates basically what, meaning the content, when, okay, the time or the pace of instruction, and how the learning experiences students will learn. Okay, it makes clear to students what they need to do in order to become successful. Okay, so there are rules, there are support mechanisms that we put in our syllabus. We'll learn that later. And it communicates the expectations in terms of students' responsibilities, okay, either in assessment or in learning activities. Okay, so step 1, paano ba mag-develop ng syllabus? First, you have to know the nature of your degree program. For those who are teaching in the undergrad, look at your program. If it is a BS, Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration, wala naman ng BA, Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration, wala na. Basically, it's now Bachelor of Business Administration. Is there a difference between the three? Yes. Bachelor of Science use the tradition or the lens of the sciences. That means problem solving, data interpretation, data gathering, okay, frameworks and everything to understand a phenomena. For a BA, it makes use of the social science perspective. So we look at relationship of people to its environment. We look at the social factors, okay, in understanding BA, for example. But BA is a multidisciplinary discipline. So therefore, it's Bachelor of Business Administration. We are preparing these people to become professionals in business. So if it's a professional field, then it is important that those who are teaching it should also have experience in business. Okay? Kasi marami nagtuturo na walang experience sa kanilang tinuturo. Okay, how can you teach, for example, yung mga how to teach them about, for example, risk-taking attitudes, etc., etc. Kung ikaw, wala ka namang experience sa mga ganyan. So it is important that if you teach, okay, especially ang BA is Bachelor of Experience is also important. Exposure and experience are important. Next, if you are teaching an MS or MBA, ano man, yung MBA yun, Master of, ibig sabihin, nandyan pa rin yung experience. So, yun, when you sign your syllabus, kasi Master of Business Administration niya, it's a practitioner's perspective. You're training them to become practitioners professionals in the field. Pag MA, of course, at sa social sciences. Pag Master of Arts in Business Administration. Pero we don't usually have that. Yung iba, mayroon silang MS, Master of Science. Master of Science, this means you are training these students to become researchers in the field, people in the academe. Okay, kasi dalawa yan, research degree or professional degree. Okay, ganun din kapag PhD or DBA, yung magtuturo ng DBA. DBA, it's a practitioner's degree. It's a professional applied field. Therefore, the teachers should be practitioners. And when you design your syllabus, nandun yung practitioner's perspective, experiential. Okay, so ang case, pag nag-case-based method ka, for example, ang case-based method mo sa Bachelor of, it will lead us to understand more about the practice of business administration, the problems that we encountered, solutions, etc., etc., nandiyan, innovations. Pero kapag MS na siya, o BS, MS, or Doctor of Philosophy, we're looking here at innovations. We are looking here at theory building, generating theory and good practices from the ground. Okay, from the practices, looking at the data, looking, for example, at the case of one business or corporation, their success stories, what led to their success stories, etc., etc. What did they do? The problems that they encountered. Kung halimbawa ganon, we are more concentrated on data, on theory building, theory validating, and theory evaluation. Okay, so we need to review the program outcomes and course outcomes first, kasi your syllabus will contribute to the development of the program outcomes of these degree programs that you're going to offer. So if it's a professional program or research program, alam mo kung paano i-balance yung theory and practice. Okay. Second, review. You need to review the course description. Sige, in-assign na ng dean, established by your department. Tinuro ko na yan last year. Possible, but there are innovations now. Okay, every day there is innovation coming out. Okay, there are new ideas. There are new problems and issues that arise. So therefore, we have to integrate all these things. Kasi BA is a practice, multidisciplinary field. So ngayon, may bago tayong presidente. Bago yung presidente, iba yung presidente dati sa presidente ngayon. Ngayon, for example, ayan, ano ba yung statement ni Congressman Marcos? That statement can be integrated, for example, in our lesson. Okay, the peso is weak not because it is weak, but it is because the dollar is strong. So what do we mean by that? Okay, how do we interpret it? For example, as a social scientist in a multidisciplinary field. Okay, so may mga bagong issues sa ating lipunan. Even economic policies, economic programs. Ngayon may earthquakes sa Northern Luzon. Okay, so paano yung maapektuhan? For example, how can we capture all this context? Okay, because a text, a story is useless without understanding its context. So, being a professor, you have to continuously, may tinatawag ako na critical and creative reflection. Every sem. Okay, every sem, we have to review the course description and know the nature of the course. If it's interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary, all the more that we should know the content of what we are teaching. All the more that we have to strengthen our discipline. There are people in mathematics who are teaching business courses. Then that's teaching math in a multidisciplinary way. Applied math yun, actuarial math yun, or whatever. Okay, so there are also philosophy professors who are teaching in BA, or psychology, organizational psychology professors teaching in BA. Okay, organizational or public administration experts who are teaching in business administration. So all of these things, you need to know the nature of the course. How can you maximize your background? How can you maximize your expertise and make use of the resources that you have and make use of the issues that we are experiencing as a country and as people, okay, to enhance the content of our syllabus. So those are part of OBE syllabus. Take note, kapag content-based tayo, it's too difficult to include all those things kasi nakafocus ka lang sa content, sa prescribed content, okay, na what is written and acceptable. Okay, but there are emerging ideas, emerging practices. Okay, even issues, problems that we have. The nature of problems before, especially now with as a result of the pandemic, and at the same time as we face the challenge of the 21st century life and the fourth industrial revolution. Maraming mga challenges. So ang professor in a multidisciplinary way should know how to weave all this knowledge, those experiences, and put them together in meaningful themes in the curriculum and designing learning activities that will truly engage our learners to meaningful learning. Okay, so you have to know the nature of your course. If it's a core discipline under BA, okay, if it's interdisciplinary, meaning it's a combination of two disciplines or two fields. If it's a multidisciplinary, three or more. Okay, it's an issues-based. It could be thematic or problem-based. Therefore, pag ganon ang kurso mo, then you have to be true to the design of the curriculum by looking at the themes of the curriculum, looking at how you address and teach, okay, these themes, these topics, these cognitive skills, how you develop these competencies in your curriculum. Step 3 is to articulate different course outcomes and learning objectives based on the nature of the course, step 2, and then based on step 1, the program outcomes and the institutional outcomes. So usually, you look at the course title. The course title, of course, is prescribed by the PSG or by the school. The course credit is also prescribed. The course description is also prescribed. If you want to enhance it, so please ask the permission of the university. Take note, because the course description is not yours. Okay, it is not yours. Okay, so if you think that there are things that you need to change in the course description, it has to go through, okay, the regular curriculum proposal of your university. The university should know, and the university should approve. Okay. Then you need, the first thing that you have to do is to articulate the course outcomes. The course outcomes based on the nature of the course and in relation to the program outcomes. Learning outcomes should be SMART, meaning specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bounded. I know that it's sometimes mas mahirap pa maghanap ng verb, the right verb to use than a topic, okay, or a learning activity. But yeah, it's a good exercise. Ang ano lang naman doon is that you should know what you really want. Okay, and talking about learning outcomes, because this is a bachelor's degree, for example, it's level 6 under the PQF or the AQRF. Tingnan mo yon. So level 6, ano yung mga skills, anong motivation, anong type of leadership, ano ang ine-expect ng isang bansa for a graduate of a bachelor's degree. Okay, titingnan natin yon. Okay, so examine if the course outcomes are aligned with the program outcomes and if they are doable in a flexible learning mode. Because even if we go back to face-to-face instruction, flexible learning is here to stay. Because flexible learning is not just online. Maraming modalities ang flexible learning. Okay, so anong effect nito pag sinusulat mo? Ibig sabihin, okay, if your objectives, course outcomes are focusing on understanding and remembering, that means ang activities mo ay synchronous yung learning activity. Kapag applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating, if those are your outcomes, then they have to do that asynchronously. Okay? So, yung iba, ginagamit natin yung higher order, lower order. Nagiging negative yung lower order. But I tell you, you cannot apply what you do not understand and what you do not remember. You cannot analyze something that you do not understand. So, remembering and understanding are basic. But take note, in the pyramid, they are the foundation. Okay, so it's important for you to understand and remember the concept before you can apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. But to help the students understand and remember, of course, ginagawa yan synchronous, real-time discussion and analysis. And then you let the students do the application, analysis, evaluating, and creating in a synchronous way. So please take note of that when you develop your syllabus. Okay, so we ask ourselves, according to Cornell in 2015, do learning outcomes measure a range of educational outcomes, yes or no? Are they connected with the program outcomes? Are they connected with institutional outcomes? Does the learning outcome match? Okay, instructional activities assessment, is there an alignment, constructive alignment between and among the elements of instruction? Does the learning outcome specify, for example, appropriate learning conditions or performance? Or does the learning outcomes utilize an effective action verb that targets the desired level of performance? Pag bachelor's, dapat, if you look at the Bloom's taxonomy, for example, the bachelor's level is until application. Okay, they understand the theory, they understand the practice, and apply it. Okay, prepare themselves to apply it in a professional practice. In a master's level, from application to analysis. Yun yung dalawa. And then for the PhD level, from evaluating to creating. Okay, But of course, for instruction, all should be present. Okay, step number 4. Now, after listing the outcomes, list your major topics your course will cover. Okay, topics are OBE-based, which means we focus on, pag nakalagay doon, for example, identify, analyze different organizational principles, etc., etc. Ang topic, hindi organizational principles. To take note of the verb. They say they want the students to analyze. Therefore, kaya nga learning experiences or learning activities, you want them to analyze. So nakalagay doon, analysis of or analyzing, blah, blah, blah. Topic is analysis of organizational principles and theories. Ang activity ay let them analyze by group or individually. Synchronous or asynchronous. Yun yun. So if we are, because we are using a hybrid or a blended learning syllabus, you add links to the module or the OERs or the online educational resources for flexible learning. Ilagay nyo yung link doon. If you are using an LMS, then put all these things in the LMS. Align the topics with the course outcomes and streamline the topics to focus only on the competencies. Hindi lahat-lahat na nakasulat sa reference book or textbook isinulat muna. Okay? Because again, you have to focus on the competency. Kaya importante yung verb, not because it is a prescription or what, but because it determines the type of activity, okay, that you want your students to learn. It describes the competency and the level of the competency that you want your students to master. Okay, step number 5. You identify the learning activities that will help the students learn the topics and achieve the course objectives. So ayan, from the course objectives, you have the course topics and learning activities na. Synchronous or asynchronous. Okay, but of course, yun ang sinabi ko sa inyo kanina. If you want your students to apply, to analyze, and to evaluate or to create, those will be done asynchronously. And if you want the students just simply to describe, understand, explain, so ito yung discussion, the ordinary discussion, classroom discussion, small group, or big group discussion, then these are synchronous. It could be done like this. But please don't use the synchronous session to give a lecture, okay, or report. You can only give a lecture if there is an additional information that you want your students to learn. Or if they have difficulties of understanding a concept, then you can provide a short lecture. But please don't lecture or don't ask the students to report during the synchronous session. Avoid na natin yung reporting na yan. We focus on data analysis and data interpretation. We focus on reporting data. We focus on creatively communicating an idea rather than reporting. Okay, and we have what we call creative or critical dialogues that we can use, okay, to improve the way we discuss topics. Okay, even Socratic method. Okay, ang kailangan nating ayusin. Okay, part of the activities, the selection of activities, because we are in a flexible learning mode, so you consider the context of learning. Ano ka ba? Residential yan, online, or remote? If it's blended, then ano ba yan? So blended pero residential. So that means 60% face-to-face, 40% or 70% face-to-face, 30% online. Okay, pero pag online ka naman, online yung learning nyo, okay, that means it's 60% or 70% online and then 30% face-to-face kapag hybrid. Okay, pag remote, totally sa bahay yon. Baka once a month lang talaga mag-meet ng mga estudyante or twice a month lang pag remote. Kasi tulad na nangyari ng pandemic or none at all, online na palagi. Okay? Pero if it's hybrid, okay, hybrid, then it makes use of both residential, online, and remote. Okay? So the structure of learning, it's synchronous if it's real time. Pag off time, asynchronous. Okay? And again, what I would like to reiterate what I've said, don't make use of the synchronous discussion to provide or to ask your students to give nonsense reports or boring reports, etc. They're just parroting what is written in the book o tinatagalog lang yan or what. Or please don't give lousy lectures during the synchronous session. You prepare questions for discussion. You ask questions to your students, Socratic dialogue or what. You ask the students what they understand and what they don't understand in the lesson. Okay? Use integrative approaches, problem solving, problem-based integrative teaching, okay, for synchronous sessions. It's the structure of learning. But you can choose any instructional delivery. Ayan, yung blended learning, Okay? Or yung hybrid, high flex na sinasabi natin. Okay, it could be flipped learning. Yung flipped learning, nagagamit siya kahit sa hybrid o sa high flex. That means yung lecture is already given to the students either online, may podcast, or mayroong lecture video talaga, or they will visit a website, they will read papers, whether this is a printed or online, babasahin nila yon, or recorded lecture mo, or video of an experiment that they have to do, or a module containing all the data, etc. Para pagdating sa classroom, whether it is synchronous or asynchronous, blended or high flex, alam na nila. Yung assumption is alam na nila. Then they can proceed. You can now focus with discussion, with analysis, with creation. You can now focus with data interpretation. You can now focus on evaluation and others. So if you flip mo yung learning. Next is mobile learning, of course. Okay. Na depende yan, nasa sayo yan, ano, kung paano mo, how are you going to design instruction, for example, to make use kasi of technology in teaching and learning. Okay, para madadala-dala nila kahit nasaan. So again, it is important for you to record your activities. So importante dito yung pag gumagamit ka ng mobile learning, importante dito instructional design, developing online modules, and of course, using recorded lectures, recorded activities. Okay, online learning, ito yung ginagawa natin ngayon. Okay, lahat-lahat, maraming online learning paraanan. Okay, virtual education. Virtual education, may mga seminar, pinoprovide o micro-credentials, pinoprovide ng other universities here or abroad. They can attend with or without a certificate. Pag may certificate, you have to pay. Pag without certificate, they don't pay. Okay, depende yon, but they have credits, ano? So this will influence. You ask them to attend 2 or 3 or more, or you want them to participate or what, or that could be an arrangement with your local or foreign university partner. You can do virtual education, and then it is just credited as one of the lessons or the topics that are in the classroom. And then it could be an adaptive learning. Adaptive learning is an ideal flexible learning, but the students will have more freedom to choose the topics, choose how they should learn, choose the pacing of instruction, and at the same time, the place of instruction. And then, of course, remote learning. Kung sa bahay sila, nagtatrabaho, and you want them to work on their modules, whether these are online modules, course packs, or if they are using or pwede rin sa print modules. Okay, so remote learning yun. So they have different choices. Ano? So all of these things. So in syllabus development, okay, kailangan mo magiging instructional leader ka, okay? You need to make decision. Paano ba? Usong blended ngayon, kaya blended na lang. Gusto kong mobile para wala kang ginagawa. No, it's not about what you want, but it is what the course demands. And of course, again, you look at the nature and needs also of the students. Okay? So, step 6, pag nagawa mo na yung learning activities, then identify different assessment tools that will best measure the desired results of learning. So again, so yung gagamit ka ng traditional assessment or authentic assessment, add links to online learning portfolio. Where will they submit this? Ano ba yung rubrics? Ilagay mo na rin yan. Dapat nakapost na, nasa LMS na, or pag syllabus yan, nandun na yung link, nandun na yung URL kung saan nila makikita yung rubrics, saan nila makikita yung, saan sila magsasubmit ng kanilang materials and everything. Again, in an OBE, kailangan ba bawat outcome mayroong assessment? No. Okay. Kung meron mga assessment, these are formative assessments like quizzes, okay, simple discussion, etc., etc. But take note, formative assessments are not graded. Take note, ha? Hindi ginigradean yan. You look at the benchmarks, and from the benchmark, mayroon tayong tinatawag na summative assessment. So those summative assessment are the only ones that we will record. Okay? If you want to record all the quizzes, take note. If you want to record all the quizzes and activities that they do inside the classroom, do that as part of the learning portfolio. Okay? So, ayan. Kailangan yung rubrics nakalagay na doon, etc. So here, so if the outcomes are based on understanding or remembering or the LATS, lower order thinking skills, then we make use of traditional assessment, meaning quizzes, examinations, written exams, okay, multiple choice, fill in the blanks, ganon. But if we want to performance, okay, if the outcomes are focusing on applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating, then we make use of authentic assessment. Okay, pag authentic assessment, we need the portfolio. We need rubrics, and the rubrics and the content of the portfolio should be prescribed and given to the students so that they should know what they are expected to do. Okay, step 7, you identify the schedule, okay, based on the course objectives. So ito na yan, synchronous, kailan, naka-fix ito. So every Monday or Tuesday ba yan? Every time na nag-meet kami? No. Okay, hindi kailangan. In a hybrid, in a for example, in a blended learning, kasi 70-30, so ilang beses lang mag-meet. Okay? For example, in one semester, there are 45 days. In one semester. Kung 45 days in a one semester, ibig sabihin nito, there are 5 months, 45 divided by 7, divided by 5, ilan ito? Okay? Okay, 9 lang, ano? 9 divided by 3 because there are 3 semesters, 3 terms, I mean. So, 9 divided by 3 is 3. So, which means you divide that in one semester, in one term, pag prelim, 3 lang na meetings. Okay, na face-to-face, pag online kayo, di ba? Pag ano naman, pag online, kapag online niyo 3 face-to-face lang. Kapag face-to-face naman, yung blended learning nyo, 3 online lang ang kailangan. So 30% lang talaga and everything ang kailangan mo doon. So it will affect the activity synchronous na fixed na kung kailan sila mag-meet, anong oras. And of course, the asynchronous for the purpose of situating or helping the students organize the schedules. Ito yung deadlines, ito yung duration kung kailan mo gagawin yung activity na yan. 2 weeks in between, for example, November 1 to November 15. So it's expected that after November 15, you will submit the requirements, but you can consult me. Okay, anytime. Kasi nandun pa rin naman yung 10 hours consultation, di mawawala yon. In fact, mas maraming ang consultation ngayon sa online. Okay, so you fix the schedule. Okay, and they decide whether these are synchronous or asynchronous. Step 8, you identify what you believe the students need to know in order to be successful. What are the classroom management rules? Class attendance, rules on class attendance, relevant pa yan ngayon o hindi, and participation, how do you want them to participate, especially in an online course. Kasi ang nakikita ko ngayon sarili ko in picture nyo, hindi ko alam kung anong ginagawa ng iba, kung nakikinig talaga kayo or hindi, or may ginagawa kayong iba or what. That is also possible in a class. Okay, so what is the rule? Kailangan ba open yung camera? Pag open yung camera, sabi nila, sir, ma'am, naka-mobile data lang po kami, etc. Or ma'am, cellphone lang gamit ko, ito lang. So those are the considerations. Of course, lahat ng rason nandiyan. So how do you prioritize? What are the things that you wanted to, pag gumamit ng LMS, nakita mo, hindi niyan binuksan yung LMS. Walang questions doon sa dialogue, doon sa chat box. For example, nakikita mo, hindi man yan di-download, pero may sinubmit siya. So, how to manage all these things, How to manage all these things and make sure that the students are really doing their task. Okay, provide detailed information on how grades, assignments, or activities will be evaluated and communicates expectation in terms of students' responsibilities. Okay, those are important. Okay, for example, this is done by my professor in 2008. Ang ganda yung syllabus niya na to, hindi ko pa mula nung 2000, remember 2008 pa yan. But she is the Assistant Vice President of the UP system who helped in the development of the modules and courses, programs of the UP Open University when they are starting. Kaya kung nagpa-pioneer pa sila ng mga programs. So mayroon siyang assessment, naka-specify yung course requirements niya and then points. At take note, hindi ko lang inilagay dito, may description ng what yung reflection journal extracts, poster, anong dapat makita sa poster na yan, poster of a distance education, and then the assessment details, may mga detail, nakadetalye talaga, parang module nga talaga, yung modular, ang itsura ng isang syllabus sa hybrid and high flex learning or blended learning. The basis for grading, nandun nakalagay, including the points. And then the class policies, ito yung classroom management rules so sinasabi ko. Class discussion, what are the expectations? Class attendance, academic integrity, late submission policy, all of these things. Okay, nakalagay doon sa class policies natin. Okay, step 9, list the references. I think this is the last. Okay, list the references needed for the courses. So when we say you need the list the references, identify the major textbooks that will be used in the course, and list at least 5 references published within the last 5 years that students can read. If you're using a URL, make sure na nandun pa Okay? Kaya continuously update the references. And take note, matutunan din mga estudyante dito yung proper reference. Kahit yung proper lang na pagsulat ng references and the referencing pag nagle-lecture kayo, pag nagdi-discuss kayo or what. Kahit halimbawa sa social sciences, we use the APA. So, kahit yun man lang, kahit sa pag-list ng reference, matutunan ng bata yun. Malaking bagay na. Okay, so things that if you are using OERs, for example, because it's a hybrid and high flex, and then kung naka-flip yung learning, so you put that in the LMS. If yung wala, give them a course packs. Importante yun, kasama yung syllabus ninyo. Okay, so this is the ideal picture of the syllabus, an OBE syllabus. Okay, of course, what I said a while ago, wala naman nakalagay na format. Walang format talaga ang syllabus ng OBE. Kahit ano pa. Sa abroad nga, minsan, nandyan hanggang sa course outcomes, references and evaluation. Wala yung schedule, learning activities, content. Wala, pero doon lang yung list of assessment. Okay, it's still an OBE? Yes, it is an OBE course. So, what is important is that you articulate the course. But here in the Philippines, we are too focused on the content, the structure. So, ito yung structure na ginagamit usually. Learning outcomes, content, learning experiences, and then assessment tool. Please take note, hindi na natin ginagamit yung learning activities. Learning experiences, why? Because we want the students to experience learning. Okay, so here, ito, for a hybrid and for high flex, hybrid, or for a blended learning. Okay, you have to modify the course outcomes as much as possible to suit the requirements of a flexible learning mode. Kasi gusto mo silang mag-discuss, ang layo pala nila. Okay, kailan pa sila mag-blended. Okay? Gusto mo pala ng laboratory work, gusto mo ng practicum, gusto mo ng immersion the community, pero ang layo pala nila or whatever. So you have to consider all of those things. Okay? Kasi nag-high flex kayo or nag-hybrid or nag-blended kayo. Then schedule, you need to provide schedule for synchronous and asynchronous session. The objectives, consider the time, the place, and the mode. Okay, for the topics, add links to the topic. Okay? The URLs, for example, for some of the readings, pwede na ilagay dito. And the learning activity experiences, upload the activities. Okay, or kung wala man, kung papel yan, nandun yung URL, nandun yung code. Okay, nandun yung bar, nandun. Okay, for synchronous and asynchronous, nandun QR code, nandun para makita nila, para mababasa lang nila or what. Pero kung printed yan, dahil walang capacity yung bata, nandun yung URL. Okay, assessment tool. Add the links for online portfolio, okay, for the assessment, for the rubrics, lahat-lahat nakalagay na dyan. Or kung modularized naman ang paggawa nyo ng syllabus nyo, parang Singapore or para ibang school, kasi may na micro-credentials nila, okay, yung ibang mga topics, pwede rin, module 1, module 2, nagiging module kasi may course pack. Okay, one lesson, one unit is one module, for example. And then again, consider the time, parehas lang din. Ang nakalagay dito, the schedule and number of hours needed. For example, consider if it's synchronous, 3 hours naman yun, so walang problema. O 1 hour lang, o 1.5 hour lang i-synchronous mo, walang problema. Pero yung asynchronous, yung tinatawag nating study time, 2 weeks ba yan? 3 weeks? Up to when? Kasi that will influence the assessment. Okay? So ito yung description ng syllabus. With that, thank you very much and God bless you. Okay? So if you have some questions, so please feel free to ask me now.
Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Pawilen, for a very comprehensive, substantial, and relevant presentation. So, dear participants, for your queries or clarifications, you may use the chat box or you may ask directly to our very accommodating speaker by raising your hand. I will check po ang ating chat box. It's more on saying thank you. Very helpful, the presentation. We are very grateful on what you shared today or this afternoon, Dr. Pawilen. And then,
gusto ko lang i-emphasize niya, ang kasi kung minsan, yun nga, Kasi para lahat ng outcome ba kailangan may assessment? Hindi ho. Look at the benchmark. Okay, the benchmark will tell you when to assess the students. Kasi pahirap lang yan. Hindi nyo naman sinichekan. O kaya kung checkan nyo man ang mga yan, pinapahirapan nyo din ang sarili ninyo. Kasi formative assessments are supposed to be used to improve learning. Okay, to check whether the students are now ready for the next level or not. Okay, hindi ibig sabihin mali yung sinasabi nila sa OBE dapat lahat ng outcomes merong ano. Hindi. In fact, if you look at the course outcomes, 3 o 5 lang yon. The 5th or the terminal outcomes will tell you the course requirement. The terminal course requirement, if there is a quiz, there is an exam, or there is a paper or a project that needs to be done. Yun lang yon. Kasi kung minsan, OA yung mga nagle-lecture ng syllabus development or instructional development or OBE. I don't even know if they really know what OBE is all about. OBE is quality assurance. OBE is ensuring that all the outcomes are accounted for. OBE is making sure that the students are engaged in their learning because it's a learner-centered paradigm. Preparing the learning environment and the learning resources, preparing yourself as an expert to teach. Kasi dapat yan, hindi lang tayo 1 page, 1 chapter ahead of our students. Actually, my dear friends, the syllabus is a reflection of who we are. How much do we know? And it's a reflection of your expertise. If you are a pseudo expert in your field, then get out. Don't teach. Baka mas magaling kang businessman, di ba? Ay, sabihin mo, businessman kasi ako eh. They don't teach, mag-business ka na lang. Pero if you're a good businessman, if you can share your knowledge, the better. Kasi there are many things in this world that can be learned by experience. And you can share that. Yung tawag ko doon, you theorize from the ground. Wala yan sa libro eh. Okay, yung buhay mo, hindi yung buhay mo na pagyayabang mo, ha? Hindi. No. Okay? So, ayan.
Okay, thank you, Doc. Okay, actually, you're asking, sir, if it is possible for them to have a copy of your presentation because very important,
Yeah, I will.
informative.
Yeah, I'll give to Mark, and then Mark maybe can give to Paxby. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. Okay, and personally, I would like to express my gratitude. So thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us, for reminding us as our major role, important role as a teacher. Okay, for us to remember or recall the basic principles, of education when we are imparting a knowledge and when we are doing, our part as a teacher. And then for reviewing, actually, I'm taking down some notes,
My question dito, ma'am, nakalagay
yes, sir.
from FEU. Okay, it's always challenge for instructor to marry appropriate learning experience and content. For board courses, yes, I understand. But take note, even the board courses, ang pinofocus doon is yung competency. Okay? Kasi the competency will determine or will push the students to learn the content. Di ba? To learn the content. We focus on competency, their ability to analyze, their ability to understand, their ability to... So, pinag-uusapan natin competency. Hindi mawawala ang content, but content will be taught in the context of a competency. Because when you take the board, you will apply. Of course, nandun yung basic knowledge, your ability to recall or your ability to understand. More or less, your ability to understand is the one that is measured, but you cannot understand something that you can recall. Pero you can shoot 3 birds or 4 birds. Bawal daw yun. Sabi nila doon sa mga environmental bawal daw yung expression na ganyan. Pero I will I will use it this time. Sabi niya, you can shoot 4. You can target 4 objectives or 4 elements in one time. While learning the competency or mastering the competency, you are actually pushing or motivating the students to read more, to explore more, to understand. So pag nag-board siya, all the more na dapat mas tataas ang score niya. Okay? Kapag naka-focus ka sa competency. Kasi importante dito, you don't just understand. Kasi you cannot do what you do not know eh. So importante, aaralin mo yung basic pa rin. So content-based. So pag sinabing competency-based and outcomes-based, we are not moving away basically from learning the content. No. But we put the content into context. Because a text without context is useless. And a professor who cannot put a text into its proper context is also a useless professor. Pero marami din ganon, di ba? 1 page, 1 chapter. Pero MBA sila, PhD sila, di ba? DBA sila. Tawag ko dito, kaya minsan, DBA, di ba? O di ba? Ganon, you know, kailangan kaya nga tayo nag-aral eh, di ba? Kaya tayo nag-aral because we have something to share and we should not stop learning. Di ba? Ang saya ng magturo eh. Kasi you're putting your education and your experience in one. You are bringing the students to a meaningful journey, to a joyful carpet ride where metacognition can be experienced, where creative learning experiences are felt, where you are engaging the students to look beyond, okay, from above, to see what is in the ground. Yun lang yun. And at the same time, making them experience the joy of learning. Di ba? Lalo na sa inyo kasi business eh, di ba? Business administration or accountancy. Practice is important. Linking it with everyday life. Kayo ngayong nakakaintindi dapat ng mga kayo na makakaintindi ng mga problema sa lipunan and everything. Kasi after all, whether we like it or not, hindi natin ini-sponsoran yung material world or what. But material world is still part of our world. Okay, business is important in development, in human development. So how can we put all these things in the lens of science, social science, or in a multidisciplinary way in order to help the students learn? So yung syllabus mo is a reflection of who you are. So kung kinopya mo yung syllabus mo, ay ikaw dispensa. Pero kung kinopya-kopya mo yung syllabus mo, ikaw siguro tanga. Hindi mo alam. Di ba? I will not apologize for saying tanga. Ito talagang yun talaga. Kasi ang isang magaling na teacher, alam niya how to put all these things together. He or she will not be satisfied by just copying something. Okay, that he did not analyze or he or she do not understand. Okay, kaya kailangan tayo itipapakit. We are creating the magic of teaching and learning here. And we are bringing the magic of teaching and learning through our syllabus. The syllabus is our magic wand that will transform the students as a whip of at a snap of a finger into somebody else. Kaya lang nila ma-experience yung transformation, that positive transformation. It is because of who we are. The syllabus in a hybrid and blended mode will help the students learn with or without the teacher. Diba? Yun lang yun. Because we are putting ourselves in the syllabus, talking to the students. Hey, bukas may exam ka. Hey, bukas may exam ka, may paper ka. Pero alam mo, mayroon pang kung gusto mong tumaas ang grade mo sa paper mo, tingnan mo lang yung class rules nandun. You are talking to the students. You are actually helping them become independent learners, self-regulated learners. Di ba? Yun ang syllabus eh. Kaya huwag kayong kumopya-kopya, huwag kayong maniwala sa kung ano-ano dyan, etc. Business managers kayo, business administration kayo, di ba? Take the risk or take the risk with some benefits. Di ba? Ganun lang yun.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you for the words of wisdom, for the reminders, for enlightening us, and of course, for challenging the educators who are with us today. Okay. So, may pa po ba tayong question? I can see any question in the Q&A box. And then in the chat box, it's more on thank you. Okay, I can see any in the Q&A. I don't know if I don't have an access or talaga po bang walang question in the Q&A.
Ano? Okay. Sige. Ito yung CMO 15. CMO 15 is for the graduate studies. Sino ba nagsabi niyan? CMO 15 is for graduate study. 2019 unless it's CMO. It's CMO 46. Pero OBE kasi it's already part of our DNA in the college. In fact, it is as old as the university itself. Ano na yun eh, nung dinevelop na ang University of Salamanca, ang Bologna, and everything lahat yan, University of Paris, Oxford, it's already, the OBE is already the design of curriculum. Hindi lang natin nakikita. Kaya nga nag-i-start sa philosophy, nag-i-start sa objective and everything. Di ba? Okay, ang specific ng OBE, it's CMO 46, series of 2011. Nandoon.
Okay.
Manual naman ang OBE, ang Commission on Higher Education. Pero kahit walang manual, common sense yun. Kasi we start with the outcomes. What do you really want to know? What do you really want to do? Di ba? Sa Ilocano, meron kaming pag nakita ka, kasi I'm from Ilocos, Slovak, I speak the Ilocos Slovakian language kasi I'm an Ilocos Slovakian citizen. Okay? So, taga Ilocos Sur ako. So, pag nakakita kami ng tao, may customary greetings kami na sinabi namin na, napanam. Okay? Napanam, papanam. Sa Tagalog, saan ka pupunta, saan ka nang galing. Actually, hindi kami interested kung saan ka nang galing, kung ano. It's a cultural greetings that will remind us of knowing our roots and looking forward kung anong gusto mo sa buhay. Parang sa Japan, pag sinabi mong, kyo wa eating ka disne. Pag sinasabi, the weather is fine. Okay, it's not actually about the weather. It's reminding them that, hey, whether the weather is good or not, you should accomplish something in life. Okay, so ganon din tayo dito sa syllabus. Okay, we start with the outcomes because the outcomes will lead us to where we want our students to be, what we want them to be. Okay, kaya prangka ako pag syllabus pinag-uusapan. Okay, kasi alam ko mga professors din na talagang patamad-tamad gumawa, kung nangongopya or whatever. Lalo na sa graduate school. Ay nako, pwede ba? Tigil na. O, di ba? Tumigil ang kalokohan dyan. We all have to shape up. This is business. How can you expect them to become professional business managers? Okay? If professionalism doesn't start in our class or through our syllabus. Di ba? Kung minsan nilalagay nyo pa yung vision and mission sa first part ng accreditation ng paggawa niyan, okay lang. Only in the Philippines, in the whole galaxy, Milky Way galaxy, tayo lang naglalagay dyan ng kapal. As if naman, kung nakalagay doon para ipang-display lang just to satisfy a requirement, that is not outcomes-based. The reason why we put them there, because it's a requirement. Tingnan nyo, nakalagay sa day 1. Discussion of the school philosophy, vision. You don't need to discuss that. It's already embedded. It's already integrated. Nako, Santa Maria, Bayan ng Bulacan. Ay, hindi na kailangan, di ba? Kasi nandun na. The reason why it's there, it's because it's a reminder that everything that you say and do, all the outcomes should contribute to the program outcomes and to the institutional outcomes, the philosophy of the institution. Yun lang yun. Tapos nakalagay pa, things to be, skills to be developed, creativity. Anong creativity doon? Diniscuss lang yung vision, mission, and naman. Kaya, pwede ba? Take it seriously. Minsan, nung nandun ako sa CHED, nag-check ako ng technical committee ako. Minsan, sabi ko, ay, PhD nito katanga. Anong critical thinking doon? Diniscuss lang, kinanta lang school hymn. Ano ba? I mean, the reason for that, for us, why we do that, because we want to constantly remind the students and the faculty that, hey, this is, for example, a Christian university, a Catholic or a Protestant university, a private sectarian, non-sectarian, or this is a private university, profit-oriented university, and this is who we are. This is our identity. Therefore, eto dapat yung matutunan mo. That's it. Di ba? Ayan.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you so much.
Kasi maraming nagmagaling nung sa OBE, maraming nagmagaling talaga. Ay, one chapter, minsan talagang, little knowledge of something is really more dangerous than ignorance.
Yes.
You people in the business area knows this better than I. Okay, yun talaga. Kaya marami nadidinggoy eh. Marami nadidinggoy. Kaya ako, curriculum design is my expertise. So, straightforward ako dyan. Huwag magpaloko. Di ba? Palagi yung sinasabi sa amin yan. Kayong nasa business, huwag magpaloko. May mga, yung mga pyramide, yung mga ganito. Ganon din sa education. Maraming mga pseudo experts dyan. Don't fool yourself. Okay, the syllabus is a reflection of who we are, how we want our students to learn, whether that is blended or that is high flex or hybrid. Learn about this modality because the syllabus, you need to situate the syllabus into hybrid or to blended. That's all.
Okay, sir. So there is a question here. Is it okay if one faculty member prepare the syllabus, then another faculty member will enhance it and sign at the bottom, enhanced by?
No, I agree. It should be a collaborative. Meaning sabihin, umupo kayo lahat and then gawin yun. Pero pag ganyan, naku, utusan lang yan. Hindi, ginagawa yan ng mga senior faculty. If there are senior faculty members who are doing that, refrain from doing that. If you cannot stop yourself, then you better retire. Ganun lang yon. Hindi yan utusan or whatever. No, no, no. Because it's possible nga. Nagtuturo tayo ng dalawang course. Halimbawa, ma'am, parehas tayo. Business 101. O HBO. Sige, tinuturo natin. Common yung outcome. Common yung ano. Pero nagtuturo ako sa nursing. Nagtuturo ka sa engineering. Parehas pa ng learning activity? Definitely not. Parehas pa ng learning outcomes? Definitely not. Because I have to put that in the context of nursing student. You need to put that in the context of ano. Kung business yan, ganun, kahit BA students sa mga yan, sa mga core courses, freshmen sila sa'yo. Sa akin, mix, freshmen at saka yung mga umuulit, may bagsakin pa. Oh, the students are different. So, we don't do that. We don't do that. No, no, no.
Okay, sir, and another question. Is the time frame in the syllabus must be strictly followed? And if there are some unforeseen interruption of classes, like declaring no classes by the government, for example?
Kaya nga tayo nagsisynchronous asynchronous eh. Kasi mas flexible na. Dati kasi naka-fix. So, hindi kailangan talagang mag-adjust ka. Pero ngayon napo-foresee mo na may lindol, may bagyo, walang klase, mayroong klase, etc. So napo-foresee mo na kasi ang focus ngayon ng hybrid learning, mga kapatid, ay study time rather than the faculty contact hours. Nagiging irrelevant na sa international accreditation yung faculty contact hours. In fact, tinatanong nga nila what do you do during the faculty contact hours, during the synchronous session? Kaya processing dapat yon, di ba? Kaya sabi ko kanina, kaya relevant na yon. Hindi na yon tinitingnan. Kasi kahit babalik pa tayo sa face-to-face. Kasi flexible learning is here to stay. The schedule will also be flexible in the future. Pero kaya natin tinatanong yan kasi remember, we are still in the period of transition. Transition tayo eh. Inaaral pa rin natin, piniperfect natin yung system natin. Okay, Winnie the Pooh has an answer to that. Okay, don't be in a hurry. The rivers know this. We shall get there someday. Di ba? Ayun, kay Ma'am Gawat, sabi niya, I agree most of your comments on syllabus, sir, but much that we wanted to it, the way you explained, sir, but we are compelled to follow prescribed format by administrators, dean supervisors. I understand. Sometimes even the CHED supervisors do some prescriptions that they cannot understand themselves. Okay, following the blind, leading the blind leading the blind. Parang gano'n ang nangyayari. What I'm trying to say here is that the deans should know. The deans should read. Okay, dapat magbasa. Ang rule dapat yan sa isang kolehiyo, dahil university, colleges tayo, magbasa para huwag maging tanga. Okay, you tell that to your deans. They should read. They should read the CMO. They should read the PSG. And they should examine. Kasi mga deans ang mga yan. Kaya nga tumaas ang sweldo. Kaya nga may allowance, may honorarium. Kasi we expect better things from them. We expect that they have the head. Okay, in-expect natin may utak ng mga yan. So they should read. They should read. You read. Look at what the world is doing. Okay, PhD ang mga yan at mga MS ang mga yan. So that means hindi dapat sila maging tanga. At kung ano narinig nila, yun na yun. Hindi. Okay, no. You have to read and read and read. Parang business yan, di ba? Your theories keeps on evolving. Nag-i-evolve in the context of people, in the context of experience, in the context of research. So ganun din yung ideas. Walang pre-prescribe ang ano. I understand where you are coming from kasi talagang may prescription. Yung format, okay na sa akin yung format, sige. Pero naman, substance naman in everything, hindi. They should learn. Kung ganun ang dean, panalangin nyo na lang na sana mapalitan yung dean o mag-retire na lang. Ganun lang yun. Ako nainis ako pag mga ganyan. Okay. I have to be brutally honest and brutally frank because I became a dean. I'm also an administrator like you. Kaya marami tayong hindi nagagawa sa Pilipinas na mabuti kasi tayo mismo hindi nakakaintindi ng ating ginagawa, di ba?
Okay, so Doc, highly appreciated ka ng ating mga participants. So talagang they learned so many things from you. But then there are another question, sir. Tuwing kailan po ba dapat mag-upgrade ng syllabus?
Every
Kailangan
sem.
po ba every semester?
Sem mag-upgrade. Every sem po. Kung every sem ini-offer yung course, every sem. Kung every year, every year. Kung every 2 years, kung kailan in-offer yung course, before you offer the course, mag-upgrade tayo.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Kaya pag international accreditation, tinatanong ano yung curriculum enhancement mo? Dapat nga sa local accreditation nandun, tingnan ninyo eh. May nagbago ba sa syllabus niya kahapon nung isang linggo last year? Hindi ko kasi tinitingnan eh. Tinitingnan niya, OBE kasi yung format. O di ba kahit kahit accreditors din. Kung may accreditors dito, kailangan magbasa din kuminsan. Kasi nakita may syllabus. Chinek na may syllabus. OBE kasi yung verb. Kasi may program outcome, may institutional outcome. Kahit wala diyan nakalagay yung program outcome and institutional outcome, possible it's still OBE. Ang importante, you look at the constructive alignment and you know what constructive alignment is is all about. Kasi kung minsan nagre-require tayo, naghihirapan yung faculty. Kaya kung minsan naintindihan ko rin yung burden ng faculty. Kasi ang dami nating pinapagawa sa faculty. Hindi rin naman natin alam at hindi naman natin ginagawa. Hindi naman natin si-check. Dumating yung accreditation, tinignan lang yung syllabus. May syllabus ka ba? Oo. Ay, may format, 5 columns. Ay, may program outcome. Nandyan yung mission and vision. OBE na yan. Check. Malay mo kung syllabus pa yan noong 1984. Di ba? Pinackage lang niya. Di ba?
So we're not yet done for this talk, but then they are requesting for a part 2 with you.
Sige. Basta schedule nyo lang po ha. Parang synchronous din yan.
Looking forward ang ating mga participants to meet you again. Very realistic.
I hope face-to-face na. Ganda pag face-to-face.
Looking forward din kami dyan, Doc, with our President, Dr. Billy.
I would love to.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, meron pa po ba tayong question?
Okay, nakalagay dito, I understand syllabus should not be standard, but should be, yes. Ang ano lang naman, ang hindi nagbabago doon is yung course yung outcomes, pero the rest, yung learning outcomes and everything nagbabago, ina-update.
Okay, meron pa po ba? Okay, it's more on looking forward for the next session with Dr. Pawilen. Sabi nga, I appreciated your being vocal, sir. Absolutely agree na dapat talaga magbasa talaga at huwag lang kopya ng kopya. Would like to listen more of your lectures. Part 2. Yes, Doc, face-to-face with Doc Pawilen. So talaga looking forward, Doc, ang ating mga participants. Talagang they enjoy, they learn so much to our session this afternoon. Meron pa po ba? Before we proceed to the awarding of the certificate of appreciation to our dear speaker.
May tanong dito, do visit SOUP? Yes, I did. There are 2,173 institutions. I have visited 1,543 already. Yeah, I do. Kaya alam ko kung minsan, alam ko kung saan school. Alam ko yung data niyo, may hawak pa akong data dahil naging chief ako eh. So, nandito pa sa akin, nakikita ko pa. Minsan, dahil OED ako, support ko. Minsan, mayabang yung mga deans or mga presidente, etc. Ay, ano ko na lang, sabi ko, kilala ko na yung school mo. Huwag ka na magyabang. We need help. We need to help each other. Ano na lang yun. Ganun lang yun. We need to help it. Now is the time for us, not for us to compete. Di ba? Kasi even in business, kayo instead of the red ocean, ngayon, you're moving to the blue ocean strategy. Di ba? So, collaboration, finding your niche, okay, finding your strength, being innovative is the name of the game.
Okay, thank you, Doc. So, another question, sir. Would you suggest, Doc, na yung nag-craft ng syllabus, sila lang din ang mag-enhance or iba na?
Yeah. Kung sino magtuturo, siya ang gagawa. Yun lang. That's the rule. That's the golden rule.
Yeah. So actually looking forward din sila to meet you and for you to visit their school. So looking forward sila na makadaupang palad ang isang Dr. Greg Pawilen po.
Nako, you will see that I'm just a normal individual like you. Nasaktan at sinaktan ng pag-ibig. Hindi, biro lang.
At patuloy din nag-share ng pagmamahal sa larangan ng edukasyon.
Yeah, we should continue to share. We should continue to collaborate. Okay. Kaya I'm inviting you also to be part of the UPLB family dito sa Office for Institutional Development and Higher Education. Yeah.
Okay po. Maybe that's all. Meron pa po ba na gustong magsalita po or comment? Anything? Okay po. Muli po ang aming pasasalamat. It seems wala na po. So we will proceed to the awarding of the certificate of appreciation to our well-loved speaker this afternoon. Okay. So Again, a heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Pawilen. Thank you for sharing your precious time and expertise. And to award the certificate of appreciation to our dear speaker, we have our Executive Vice President and the Webinar Committee Chairman of PAXB, Dr. Amado L. Magsino of International Peace Leadership College. So here's the certificate of appreciation. So allow me to read the citation on behalf of Dr. Magsino. The Philippine Association of Collegiate Schools of Business, in cooperation with Private Education Assistance Committee and Rex Education, present the certificate of appreciation to Dr. Greg T. Pawilen in grateful appreciation for his valuable contribution as a resource speaker in PAXB Webinar 3, Volume 3, on crafting OBE-based syllabi for business courses, blended or hybrid modality. Okay, so conducted this October 26, 2022 via Zoom, signed by our Executive Vice President and Chair of the Webinar Committee, Dr. Amado Magsino, and our dear President, Dr. Venus M. Empuerto. Thank you so much, Dr. Pawilen. We are truly blessed to have you today despite of your super busy schedule.
Thank
We
you
waited
very
talaga
much.
na maging available ka, sir. Talagang walang iba makapagbigay ng justice for this topic, kundi ikaw lang.
Thank you, Dan, and God bless you. Continue to be a blessing to your students. Please be a blessing to your students.
Thank you so much, Doc. And to formally close our today's session, but then of course after the closing remarks, please stay for the some announcements and for the photo op. Okay, so to formally close today's session, one of the PAXB's director from Wesleyan University, Philippines, we have Professor Antonio Jose Celis. Sir Celis. Wala kang audio, sir?
Nakamute siya.
Mhm.
Sir Anton, nakamute.
Ayan, okay po, sir.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining the seminar for this event. Thank you very much, Dr. Greg, and may you all get the insightful lecture of our distinguished resource speaker. God bless everyone.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Celis. Okay, and for some announcements, we have our ever pretty, ever compassionate President, Dr. Venus Empuerto.
Okay, thank you for that description. I'm so pressured. Okay, thank you so much. Can we enlarge the print? Or baka ano? Maano ba? Ma-slideshow? Okay, thank you. Yes, although many already had extended their thanks to Dr. Greg, but me too, no? Although this isn't the first time he shared, but we learned again a lot of things this afternoon. Okay, further announcement. Ang hindi ko na mabasa, Doc Marie Chris. Okay, so we will proceed to our next webinar, and that will be our the number 4, no? The 4th webinar of the series, this particular series, how to publish a research paper, and that will be this coming November 10. From 1 to 4 via Zoom. Originally, we had the plan to have it on face-to-face at Ilocos, but there were so many things that we also considered. That's why we changed the plan. We moved back to the virtual thing. And our expected speaker will be Dr. Jean Paulo Lacap, the Vice President for Research Extension and Quality Assurance, the City College of Angeles. Moving forward, the same month, November 23, we will have now the Enhancing Academe Government Industry Linkages. And that will still be via Zoom. And that will be delivered to us by Dr. Carl Balita. Well, of course, he's also a very famous tri-media personality. No? And we can have also, we will invite one representative from CHED. And then we would like to announce or to inform the body that some members of PAXB are or will be going to Bangkok, Thailand. This coming November 24 to 27. It is an educational mission. It's a collaboration and at the same time academic cooperation, okay, with two universities in Bangkok, Thailand. We'll be sharing later, no? The moment we'll be back, we'll also give some echo on what will transpire in that particular visit. Okay. And so far, we will not be having any activity this coming December to give everyone ample time to celebrate Christmas. And also, I know most of us, we also have our own activities in our school or any other organization. Parang fully booked tayo lahat sa December. Pahinga muna tayo. And we will be preparing ourselves for the next year to come, and that will be January. And that will be called for papers for the 3rd International Research Summit. And this will be presented by Dr. Jess or Jesus Briones, our very own PAXB Director for Research, and also from Batangas State University. The rest will be, the speakers will be to be announced, and we have the remaining 1, 2, 3, 4 webinars, no? That will be January still, professional development for business educators. That will be January 27, still via Zoom. And number 9, revitalizing sustainable fair labor practices in education institutions. And that will be February 10, that will be next year. And we hope to have it a hybrid, no? Both an on-site and the Zoom. Then February 23, developing feasibility studies, that will be via Zoom. And the 11th webinar, that will be March. And that will be the last webinar, that is the data protection and privacy in business education, still to be announced for as far as a speaker. And of course, the most awaited one, no? We are going to culminate, no, our 60th anniversary for PAXB, and that will be our annual national conference. And of course, the International Research Summit. This will be the second time, third. Okay, that will be April 20 to 21. And still hybrid, but you know what? Last April, although we announced it's hybrid, but we were able to come up with a good number of on-site participants, and we are expecting more than that. No? And that will be held, the theme will be PAXB at 60, no? Senior citizen ng PAXB, no? Maka-enjoy na ng discount. Strengthening business education through the years. Parang team song ni Kenny Rogers. And that will be at Limkit Kai Lux Hotel, Cagayan de Oro City. And also together with the PIAC. No? And we hope to, looking forward to see most of you there in Cagayan, because it's a very nice place. And yeah, more announcements to come through, via email through our secretary. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Madam President. So to the growing family of PAXB, now you are aware about the incoming or coming activities, no, of our beloved organization. So still working hard, no, to give you the best activities, okay, for coming months and even until next year. Okay, so meron pa po ba? Wala na pong hahabol. So again, thank you so much from the bottom of our heart, Dr. Greg Pawilen. We learned so much and talaga pong nag-enjoy ang ating participants. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Looking forward to meet you in person. Okay. So meron pa po ba? So photo op na po tayo.
Yeah, pwede. Proceed na tayo. Siguro Rex ang magkuha ng pictures.
Opo.
Okay po, ma'am. Good afternoon po. Thank you po.
Thank you, Sir Mark.
You're welcome po, Ma'am Venus. Doc Venus. Ma'am Trixie, Photo sa po tayo, ma'am.
Okay po, paki-open na lang po lahat ng cameras.
Okay po, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, wait lang po ha. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile.
Smile, ang mga madami natutunan this afternoon.
Okay, one more po. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay na po, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much po. God bless po.
Thank you.
Yes po to our dear participants. Yes po, Bali Rex lang po ang nakakapag-access po sa ating Sam and Mike. Yes po, but then documented naman po ito. Thank you so much. Looking forward to see you again in our next activity. So this is Dr. Maricruz Unico from City College of Calamba, your moderator this afternoon, signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma'am Marie Chris, and thank you
Yes
everyone.
po.